Hello everyone. So today we are going to look at another problem in our array series, which is maximum difference problem. So first let's talk about the details, like what is the question exactly. So the question exactly is that we have to find the maximum of array j minus array I, where j is always greater than I. Meaning we have to find the maximum difference of two elements, where the first element would be at an index greater than the second element. Alright, so suppose let's take this example. Here, if you observe, you can see that the maximum difference which will occur here would be 10 minus 2, which is 8, right? And here the maximum difference which can be is 9 minus 7, which is 2. And here it would be 30 minus 10, which is 20. Okay. So first let's talk about nice solution first, right? So here is a nice solution. All right. So what we are doing here is exactly is we are storing the maximum difference in our variable res. Right. First we have initialized it as first element minus second element. It can be negative. That is not an issue. All right. Then what we are going to do is we are using two loops. All right. So what we are doing here exactly is for this index I, we are having j from I plus 1 till n minus 1, and we are like subtracting array j minus array I. So we will do 3 minus 2, 10 minus 2, 6 minus 2, 4 minus 2, 8 minus 2, 1 minus 2. And what we are going to do is we are going to update our result as maximum of result or array j or minus array I. Alright. For suppose in our first case our result is what? Our result is array 1 minus array 0, which is 1. Okay. Now what we are going to do is we are initialized I as 0, which is here, and initialize j as I plus 1, which is here. So res would be first of all what? 3 minus greatest of 1 and 3 minus 2, so it is 1, right? Now j would come at 10. Now the greater would be what? We have to find the greatest of these two, which is what? 8. So 8 rs would be updated to 8. So this is how the uh, function would work. After j comes here, the loop will end. Raise it a bit. Alright. Yeah. Now what will happen? We'll push I here and we'll run j from I plus 1 till n minus 1. Similarly, we'll do in this thing and this thing, right? So that's what we have written in this code. Now, calculate the time complexity of this. Since this is our first loop, this is our second loop, and these are nested loop, our time complexity is going to be big O of n square, right? So we have discussed about a solution which takes big O of n square. Now you may pause the video for 2 minutes and think of a better solution, the one which we can handle in big O of n time. Alright. Now, since you may have given a thought about it, let me discuss a little bit how you can solve it. So, in one pass, how are you going to solve it? See, we'll have a variable res which will store our maximum difference. So initially we'll initialize it as array 1 minus array 0. Now since we have to do it in one pass, we are going to maintain a variable min val mv. Initially it would be what? Array 0. Alright. It is going to be array 0. Okay. Now what we are going to do is we are going to um, have a loop which will run from I is equal to 1 till this point. And what we are going to do is exactly what we are going to do is we are going to have maximum of either res, right, or ri minus min val, right. See, when will the maximum difference occur? When we have the greatest number which we can have through this thing in the first loop, in the first first iteration, in a single loop basically, right? And we'll have a minimum value which we'll keep in check every time. So first we'll do this, and then what we are going to do is we are going to update minimum value also. Minimum value would be minimum of mv or ar I. This is ar I. Alright. So this is what we are going to do here. Okay. Now let's have a try run. At this condition, r is what? 1. Minimum value is what? 2. Okay. We can have another thing. Let's take the example 2 parts. We will understand it better. Here, what is our res? Res first of all is 2. Good. And our minimum val is 7 at first case. Now we'll run I from 1, which won't affect much. Now I will become 2. What we are going to do is we are going to subtract 5 minus 7, which is minus 2. So maximum of either 2 or minus 2. 2. So res would still be 2. But minimum value now would become 5, because 5 is less than 7. Now I will come here at 6. What we are going to do, we are going to have maximum of either res, which is 2, or ai, which is 6 minus minimum value, which is 5 1. So obviously 2 is greater, so r would still remain. Let's cross this like this. Yeah, r would still remain 2, m would still remain 5, because mv is what? Minimum of mv or ri, right? Now we'll come to this thing, maximum of either res, which is 2, or 3 minus 5, which is minus 2. Obviously 2 is greater, so we'll still have res as 2, but on minimum would become 3, right? Now we'll come here, we'll again see r would be 2, but minimum would become 2. Now we'll come out of the loop, r is going to be 2, and so output is going to be 2. Alright, so this was the efficient solution, which would take time of theta or big O of n. Okay, now let's code this thing. Okay, let's first of all add header file, then let's have std, let's have a main function, where we have int AR as, let's take a first example, 2, 3, 10, 6, 4, 8, 1. 2, 3, 10, 6, 4, 8, 1. Alright, and let's have n as, what is the size of this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now let's simply see out max diff yara comma n. Okay, easy question. Now let's have max diff function which will have dir comma size of it. What we are going to do, we are going to have a res variable which will initially have value of as yara 1 minus yara 0, and we'll have a minimum value which is going to have value of yara 0. Right. Now we'll have a loop for my, so we are going to have this loop. We are going to do two work here. First we are going to update res as either max of either res or array I minus mb. Cool. And mb would become either min of mb comma arri. And in the end, what we are going to do, we are simply going to return our res. Alright. So this is all we have to do here. Okay. Now let's try and run this code. So for it, 8. Alright. See, our output is 8. Now let's try it with another example, which is 795632. Okay. It is 7, 9, 5, 6, 3, 2. Rn would become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now let's erase this thing. Now let's try. Okay. Output is 2, which is our desired output. And let's do the third example also, just to verify it once more. Let 10, 20, 30. Right? Output should be 20. Output is 20, right? So yes, this was all for this video in the maximum distance problem, where we discussed two approaches for the same question. One was taking big O of n square, another was taking big O of n. Right? So I guess you understood like how you can solve this question, right? And yeah, that's it for this video, and see you later. Thank you.